And the bad news is Darren Till, predicted by Darren G, looks to be in a bit of a sticky situation, a bit of a crash out, a bit of a bad time. And I've given Darren G a bit of a, not a bad rap. I don't mind Darren G. I just think he's comes up with a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of lies. Maybe not lies, lies that he's thought up in his own head that he actually believes, and that he's very paranoid. And he said a lot of things about Darren Till. And I would like to say that if he does see this, I doubt he will, but do offer Darren G a slight apology, because I have previously said that stuff that he said about Darren Till is BS, basically. But I think, based off what we've seen of Darren Till in the last day or so, he's probably telling the truth. Now, guys, bear with me. I had a sparring session this morning against a couple of good lads, and I got really rattled by an uppercut. I slipped into an uppercut, and I'm a bit slow. I'm a bit worse for wear. I had to have a little nap after. I'm a bit fuzzy. So, yeah, mincing my words up a little bit. I have been all day. So if I sound a bit slow or a bit unclear, that's why. Right, so on to Till. Darren Till was on a live, responding to some questions and statements and people messaging in. And a few of the things that people said was, firstly, that he had some issues with lads from Bootle. Now, Bootle, wherever, it's on the outskirts of Liverpool. And it's a very, very rough and dangerous area. By no offence to anyone from Bootle, just by going off the crime statistics, it's higher than anywhere else in Merseyside this year. And it's a pretty bad place, apparently, for drug use, weapons, violence. And I can imagine a lot of the Liverpool underworld, the Liverpool fraternity that you hear about. I'm not going to name names of people that aren't in the public eye or aren't on YouTube. Don't speak in the public eye, because they do what they want, you know. You earn your money any way you want. If that's what you choose to do, it's nothing to do with me. But these criminal entities, probably a lot of them come out of there. I don't know whether it's an estate, or I know you get the terrace areas can be quite bad, like low income housing, and they produce a lot of crime and stuff. So I'm not sure. Someone tell me. In the comments. I'm sure you will. But the lads from Bootle are probably very dangerous, and it's to do with Darren Till nailing. So I assume he's talking about beating up. I can't assume he would mean using a weapon or anything like that, but beating up this guy. And now the Bootle lads are after him. And Darren Till puts on the silly London southern posh voice that Sam Walker does sometimes in this video. And he sort of says, oh, you'd have to be more specific. You know, it's like implying that he's done something, but doesn't deny it, and doesn't deny that these lads are after him. So that begs the question. Darren Till has said that, Darren G has said that Darren Till is involved in these fraternities, in this sort of thing, in these criminal activities, and he has connections to these people. And he's a poor role model based off that. And I always thought, oh, mate, of course he's not. You know, he lived in Portugal, but Brazil, he's trained as a fighter, yada, yada, yada. Of course he's not involved in this sort of thing. And then this comes out. And you look at his, later on into that live, someone said that they had seen him doing pink in a nightclub, and he didn't deny it. He says in a sarcastic tone, but almost as if to say, like, he did do it. Like the whole Sam Walker thing that he does with, like, oh, I don't sell coke, you know, like whatever. And he sort of said, oh, why are you telling everyone on TikTok? And it's just like, is that a denial, or are you trying to, like, is it like sarcasm, or but I feel like, because he went on to say something else about drugs in that stupid posh voice. No, drugs are dangerous. I can't get hold of drugs. So pink is a fairly new thing, or fairly new to my area. You don't see it very often, but I have been in the presence of people doing it, and that's only in the last year. And I've heard about it before, and it's something that comes from the club scene in Ibiza, and no one's really sure what's in it, but it's like a combination of things, and people say it's like pink coke or pink K or pink this or pink that. But one of my mates done it a couple of months ago, and he was in a very, very, very bad way from it. And he was sick all over the side of my car, and I had to take him home from the pub. Obviously, I don't drink and I don't do drugs. Genuinely, it was nothing to do with me. I am completely off everything, but I have no problem with being around people. If I'm going out for a party, for an event, I will go out once in a blue moon, but I'm always driving. And yeah, he needed a lift home, fairly sharpish after he done it, and it resulted in him being very, very poorly. But I know a lot of people do it and a lot of people have a good time on it. I would assume, judging from the effect that it has on people, it's probably like a more stimulant disassociative, but that's like a ket that makes you a bit buzzy, maybe. I don't know, but that's just a assumption. But if Darren Till's been doing this, and I can't get drugs, they're dangerous, they're illegal, or whatever he says, just like, well, so you're basically saying that you do drugs. That's what you're saying in that. And listen, everyone's entitled to have a good time. Everyone's entitled to have a party. Fighters do it, well, maybe not pink, but fighters do other stuff when they're not in camp, when they're not taking it seriously. Everyone does certain things when, like, most people have got a vice of some sort. It's pretty normal in the UK these days for people to either smoke bud or get on the flicky when they're down the pub or whatever else. It's more normal to do it, I find, than not, especially in low income areas or working class areas. And it's not the worst thing he's ever done, but it's not a good look for a professional fighter with a huge platform, with a massive fan base, to be pretty much broadcasting it and out there in public doing it. If you're going to do it and you're not in camp and you want to do it on the sly, maybe do it in your own home or whatever. I don't know. It's not for me to judge. But what I will say is, this is the type of thing that Darren G has been accusing Darren Till of for years. And I was just like, no, of course not. He gets drug tested. He does this, he does that. But he's basically just said, yeah, he does do it. So it's like, maybe Darren G was actually right about this all along. He obviously had some sort of information on this one in Liverpool, being a very close-knit sort of community where everyone knows each other. And the point I wanted to make about Darren Till is he's been absolutely crashing out online. If you look at some of his latest interviews, he's obviously got no fight booked in, nothing to look forward to. Bit unstable at the minute, like I say, crashing out, where the things he's been saying about Andrew Tate, about other fighters, about these long fucking rambling aggressive statuses that are kind of like Conor McGregor-esque in a way, about he's going to do this and he's going to do that and this person can't do nothing. And Andrew Tate has very much really been pretty respectful of Darren Till in what he said about him. I just want to get back in. I didn't really like the way Darren Till was trying to sell the fight. I would rather if he was just polite to me, we could get it over the line, and maybe I'll fight him after Chase them all. It's a big fight for him, and Darren Till is a very talented fighter, don't get me wrong. Went on that losing streak in the UFC, but since he's been in Misfits, he's obviously looked pretty good. Very good, really. Not a professional boxer, but could definitely probably compete at a low level as a professional boxer. He's a very, very talented striker. And yeah, he's been crashing out. He's been going ballistic, and people say, oh, he's just trying to sell the fight. Oh, it's just what he does. But if you even look in the Tommy Fury press conference, what led up to the Tommy Fury fight getting called off, he was acting very, very erratically, very, very aggressively. And is he in a bit of a bad place? Is he doing it a little bit more regularly than we think? I don't know. He's obviously involved in that sort of lifestyle. Maybe he's probably not taking the Misfits training as seriously as he took the UFC training. And is Darren G right? Is he just a cokehead or whatever else? I'm not saying he is, but it could be. And the way that he's sort of saying all this is like, yeah. So the point of this video is Darren G potentially looks correct. And I should hold my hands up and say, I've always said, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And it clearly looks like I am wrong on this one. Darren G was right. Anyways, boys, let me know what you think down below. Big trouble for Darren Till with these lads from Bootle. It could be. I'm sure they're dangerous lads. And what do you think on the whole Darren G? Was he right on Darren Till with the drugs and with the gang lifestyle, or whatever you want to call it? Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Adios. La bosh.